Hey everyone, Dylan from Moesif here, and today we're going to be looking at how to set up dynamic alerts within Moesif. Dynamic alerts are a great way to be notified of abnormalities in your API traffic. For example, you may want to set up a dynamic alert to notify you of an increase in 401 not authorized errors over a certain time period, but don't have a specific threshold in mind for when that alert should be triggered. So our first step is to navigate to the Alert Rules button here on the left navigation pane. And from here, we'll click the Add Alert Rule button on the top right. This will bring us to our alert configuration screen. Here we can see on the top right that we have an overview of what our alert will look like. The first thing we want to do is give our alert a name. So we'll call this Test Alert. And we want to be sure that our alert is active. So make sure that this checkbox is enabled. Next, we're going to choose what type of alert we want to create. We have a choice between dynamic alerts and static alerts. In this video, we'll be choosing dynamic alert. However, we do have a guide for static alerts as well. You can check out that video in the description below. We'll select dynamic alert and you'll see we're presented with a few more options we can configure. First, the direction option tells our alert if we want to be notified of abnormal increases, decreases, or both of our metric. We'll select both for this example. Next, we have our metric anomaly detector. These detectors act as a sensitivity threshold for our alerts. We have abrupt spikes, unusual changes, and trending higher detectors. We'll leave these as our default. However, if you find that you're being notified too often or not being notified enough, feel free to come back and change these to your liking. Next, we'll select a channel that we want to send these alerts to. You may already have something populated in this dropdown. However, we'll create a new channel. Click the new channel button and enter a channel name here. We'll just call this test channel. Next, you want to choose your channel type. In this example, we're going to use email. However, we do offer notifications via SMS. We have Slack and PagerDuty integrations, as well as webhook functionality. We'll enter our email address. And then we'll set up our notification throttle. This is how many notifications you want to receive within a given time frame. So we'll do 2 notifications per 1 hour just so we don't get spammed. And then we'll click Save. Our channel will then have been created and we can select it in this drop down here. Next, we'll set up our alert filter. This is where we specify which events we actually want to aggregate. For this filter, we'll simply look for any 200 response code that occurs in an API response. So up here under Filters, Events Where, we'll select a response status code that is equal to a 200 response. Finally, we'll set up our time interval. This dictates how often our alert criteria is evaluated. We have a few options in this dropdown, however, we'll keep it as the default 15 minutes. And then we can press Create and create our alert. We're presented with an overview of what our alert will look like, and then we can finalize that by clicking Create. And we'll get a notification saying that our alert has been created. If we navigate to the alert rules on the left-hand navigation pane and scroll to the bottom, we'll see that our new test alert has been created and is enabled. When an anomaly is detected, our alert will fire and we'll receive a notification in the form of an email or in the form of whatever other channel that we've set up. And that's how you create dynamic alerts within Moesif. You can find more video tutorials, talks from our meetups, past podcast episodes, and video versions of our case studies on our YouTube channel. You can also check out written guides and tutorials on our website.